Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of the ICA Sports and Fitness Science Podcast. Today we're reaching out trying to find more and more chiropractors in the world of sports and science fitness. Today we're joined by Dr. Casey Buns here, somebody I've got the opportunity to spend some time with. And I want to go ahead and let him introduce himself, tell us who he is, a little bit of his background, and where he currently resides.
Thanks for having me, Brant. Right now I am currently in Davenport, Iowa, working for the Palmer Clinics, and originally from the state of Iowa. I had a practice for 10 years after graduating chiropractic school up in Mankato, Minnesota, where I had the opportunity to work with teams of hockey players, track athletes, football players. But one thing that I've always gravitated towards is the sport of golf. It's something that I've competed at even at a young age with, and that led to more interest in that through my career within chiropractic at the same time.
Sure, let's talk a little bit about that golf thing. I know as here in my clinic we see a lot of guys that go out and golf too much, and I always try to explain to them that you shouldn't hurt the day after you golf. That's not normal, that's not right. And so you've been involved in the game of golf, and there's a special program you're in that you've learned more about the game of golf. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, early on in practice, I graduated in 2011, and in 2012 I got my level 1 TPI certification. TPI stands for the Titleist Performance Institute, and at that time all of the seminars were in person with it, but I had the opportunity to meet Greg Rose and Dave Phillips, the founders of TPI, down in Phoenix. And initially when I had found that, it was the interest in my own golf game, right? So how can I make my one piece of equipment better? And that one piece of equipment is more or less the body. It doesn't change from year to year. You can't get a new driver, or you can't get a new body like you can a new driver. So how can I make that one piece of equipment last for as long as it can? How can I increase the capacity of it? How can I just make that better for my own golf game? So it was a little bit of selfish introduction. What can I do for myself? And ultimately that led to using that and utilizing that skill of working with golfers and knowing a little bit more about the biomechanics of the overhead rotational athlete to incorporate that with a lot of other athletes, that it isn't just golfers. It's very similar to whether you're playing with a tennis racket, a baseball bat, even a pitcher. So that's the road that it took me to be introduced to TPI, and then later, which I wish I would have incorporated the level 2 and level 3 portion of that for the medical level 2 and medical level 3, because they've got different tracks within it. Incorporated that a little bit earlier in my career, because that is also another massive amount of knowledge for your rotational athletes, your golfers. That includes a lot of functional movements, sport specific to golf, and as well as a good evaluation for really any athlete at a lot of different levels.
I've been told a lot of golfers will be cheating with this muscle group or not stretching this muscle group out, be tight, alter their biomechanics of their golf swing, and that's why they end up being sore. So that's the training and stuff that you learn, partially what you learned in order to help people golf one day and still be able to golf the next day, correct?
Yeah, they look at one of the core philosophies of TPI is there's really not only one way to swing a golf club. There's infinite ways to swing a golf club. You can look at John Daly and Tiger Woods, Jim Furyk. Their style is all completely different. But if you're to look at their mechanics graphically through a angular velocity graph, you can see that they have this sequence in how they fire their body that is basically the same. That it would be tough to tell the difference between those different styles even, right? So there's infinite ways to swing a golf club, but there is one efficient way in order to do that. And that also identifies through TPI different characteristics within the swing. Not necessarily saying that they're bad characteristics to have in the swing. It's just that if there's certain things that are not met with how your body moves, and this characteristic shows up in your swing, it has this connection that they call that body and swing connection, that it can be directly related to this either mobility or stability that you have within how your body moves that is being produced in your golf swing. So it could be something that we could address through different exercises, different training in that way.
And obviously you do a little bit of the chiropractic care in there too in order to free up some
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we're talking.
Yep.
Very good. So have you found this to be a good practice builder as far as out there and marketing yourself and getting more patients to come see you, that you become like the golf chiropractor in your community? Has that been benefit you would recommend to others?
Yeah, it's one thing that if you have somebody that is passionate about golf, that somebody like me, that once they get onto the golf course and they get that club in their hands, that can be something, that's the only thing that they think about. That's the only thing that they talk about. And so then when they talk to their other friends, you get that one golfer that tends to be that social butterfly at the club. That can be very beneficial for you, right? A lot of times what you want to do when it comes to that marketing aspect, when it comes to the golf side of things, is know who's going to be talking to your golfers too. Those are going to be your club pros. It's a aspect within TPI, within that golf community too. And that's another hallmark of TPI is they've got different tracks for different people, right? You've got your golf coaches, you've got your fitness professionals, your personal trainers, physical therapists, chiropractors fit into that medical branch side of it. But it's that team approach to working with that golfer that as you work together, that the medical professional is going to be more of the trying to figure out what is going on within the body. The fitness professional, they're going to be the ones trying to increase the capacity as long as everything's moving well from a mobility and stability standpoint. And then the golf coach is going to be like he's the crew chief. He's the one that's driving that golfer and sending him in the right direction. He just needs to know from the medical and fitness professional, is this person doing something that's going to hurt themselves from a movement pattern standpoint? And can we do this other aspect from the fitness standpoint to help increase swing speed, power, whatever it happens to be? So it's that mentality of working with other professionals that can also build that practice as well, because that club pro is going to be like, hey, I know this chiropractor, I know this physical therapist, I know this personal trainer, they work really well with my golfers, I'm going to send them your way. So it's building that relationship with those head club pros as well.
Yeah, I find this in the hockey world. I find somebody has a rotated L1, L2. I'll tell them they're going to have a tight psoas on this side. I tell the strength conditioning coach to watch to make sure they're staying symmetrical in their exercise. And I share with the massage therapist. The massage therapist knows to work that side hard on the other side and check the opposite piriformis. Mm-hmm. So it's the same idea, even in golf, right? Even though it's one athlete, you still got the total team approach. I love that. That's great. I looked ahead a little bit, and as you know, I'm a Palmer graduate myself, and I go to homecoming a lot, and I saw that you'll be at homecoming this weekend, coming up here in September.
Yep, September.
And you're going to talk about one of the greatest things that our profession does, but people don't know to come utilize us for, correct?
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about what that is?
I did a series, I think it was in April, about concussions, and being a CCSP, part of the sports board of chiropractic, the American Board of Chiropractic Sports Physicians, right? We have a lot of good information out there on concussions. And as I was doing that seminar in April, I was trying to more or less accumulate 10 hours of information that I more or less presented in about 2 hours. So the one that I'll be presenting on at homecoming this year at Davenport and Palmer in September is the second part of that. The first part is how you recognize it. What do you do for on-field assessment? What do you do for managing that initial concussion stage of it? The second part is going to be more of, hey, what can we do from a clinical aspect of it? What are some of those treatment things that they've found in the research to be beneficial for concussions? And some of it is still in that theory stage. Like, there's still a lot of information that's coming out about the concussion side of things, but what is that current evidence that's out there, and what can we do from a chiropractic perspective?
Awesome. I hope more and more people learn about how much chiropractic can benefit from that, because that's obviously every mom's fear, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I wanted to give you the chance here, if you have any final words that you'd like to share with anybody. I'll give you the microphone here. It's a free mic to say what could just be thanks for listening, but I'll give you the microphone.
Yeah, I want to just thank you for bringing me on. As far as like getting the word about those golfers, it's still got a lot of sunshine, a lot of summertime, especially in the northern states, that we like to utilize those short summer months that we've got that introduce people to Titleist Performance Institute and what some of those screenings have, how they can incorporate that into practice, and even getting out to the Palmer homecoming side of things. So I appreciate you bringing me on and to be able to talk a little bit about that.
All right, great. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and checking out our ICA Sports and Fitness Science Council podcast. Wherever you listen to this, go ahead and leave a message. If you'd like to follow up with Dr. Casey Buns, you can leave us a message. I'll make sure he gets it. And other than that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you.
Thanks.